Hey, what's up guys? Chris Poker here. Welcome back to the channel. We finally reached over 500 subscribers. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for helping me reach one of the milestones that I wanted to reach. So yeah, next up is 1,000, then 2, then 4, then 10, then onwards we go. This session was long, it wasn't short, but I didn't get a lot of hands that I could play. I was folding a lot, I was pretty card dead. It's gonna be a short video, unfortunately. But the swings are pretty big, so I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys after. Before we really get into it, this session was kind of boring. There's not a lot of hands that I actually got involved in. I was folding a lot, and it really came down to one critical hand, one critical decision, and we'll get to that in the later streets, but let's start with the first hand. So we start the session Friday night around 8 or 9 p.m. Middle position opens to $15, low jack calls, and I look down at pocket 10s in the hijack. Gonna 3-bet this up to $65. I think it's a little bit on the smaller side, but 65, 75, whatever. Big blind calls, middle position call, the low jack calls. We are 4 ways. We go to a flop of 8, 3, 7, 2 diamonds. It checks over to me. Not a bad board. I mean, we don't have a diamond, but we have an overpair to the board. I c-bet for $100, and only the low jack calls. The turn comes the 8 of hearts, and now we lose to any hand that was a top pair in the flop. So when it checks to me, I decide to just pot control and check it, just in case. The river comes the 6 of diamonds, which is also a really bad card. The front door flush comes in, a lot of straights come in. So when it checks to me, I decide to just pot control and check it back, and he shows pocket 9s, and we win this one. Okay, moving right on. This next hand, it folds to me on the button. I look down at jack 7 of diamonds, and I open it up to $15. The small blind and the big blind calls. It is 3 ways to the flop. The flop comes down 8, 5, 10, 2 hearts. Checks to me with the gutter ball. I decide to c-bet for $30. I think I would do this with a lot of my range. I also want to find out where everybody's at. The small blind calls, and now the big blind check raises to 125. A little bit about this player. I feel like this guy is capable of doing this. You could definitely have a 10 and be doing this. You could definitely have a heart draw doing this. You could definitely have just 2 overs and do this. This time I decide to call, and the small blind gets out of the way, so it's heads up to the turn. Turn comes the jack of spades. He tanks a little bit, but he ends up checking. I didn't really know if this was good or bad for me, but I didn't want to blow the pot up, so I decided to check back on the turn. The river comes the queen of hearts, which is kind of the worst card in the deck. So when it checks to me, I decided to just check it back, and he shows king 10 offsuit, so I think we missed a bet on the turn, but I don't mind the check on the river. Next hand here, straddles to $10, folds to me in the low jack, and I look down at ace deuce of hearts. I decide to open up $30. The hijack now 3-bets to 90. He's been loose aggressive in spots, so I decide that even though it's out of position, I feel like this hand plays well post flop. So when he 3-bets to 90, I call, and we are heads up to the flop. The flop comes down, king 5, 3, 2 clubs. I check it over to him, and he c-bets for $100. I didn't call the flop bet just to fold here when I do pick up some equity here. So I do call the c-bet, and the turn comes the magical 4 of hearts. So we bink the straight. I check it over to him, and he continues betting for $275. I was like, okay, what would be the amount that I would raise to? Probably like $800, and he really only had $950, $1,000 total. So after doing some calculations, I decided to shove it all in, and he kind of snap calls, and he asks if he wants to run twice, and I'm never running it twice. I'm all running it once, and the river comes to 4 of diamonds, and I just quickly show my hand, and he has ace deuce of clubs. So me and him had the same hand, so we chopped, but he kind of was free rolling because he had the nut flush draw on top of his straight. I guess we got lucky. Plus, good thing we only ran it once, because we could have just gotten 3/4 here. So yeah, we take a chop here. There's a straddle to 10, folds to me in the cutoff, and I look down at pocket aces, and I open it up to $30. Small blind calls, the straddler calls, so we are 3 ways to the flop of king deuce 5, 2 diamonds. Checks it over to me. I c-bet for $35. Small blind folds, but the under the gun straddler calls. Pretty straightforward until now. Turn comes the 9 of clubs. Checks it over to me again. I bet $80 this time. He thinks for a little bit, but he ultimately calls. The river comes the 7 of hearts. So a lot of things bricked. Diamond draws bricked. I don't see anything that would scare a king off. So when he checks it over to me, I decide to attack his kings. I felt like it was inelastic and he would not fold to any sizing. So I decided to size big and bet $375, but he ends up folding. I mean, I don't mind it. I guess I could have maybe set small, but I don't think his bluffs we're gonna do anything other than folding, and his kings are gonna call any bet. So yeah, I decided to bet big this time, and unfortunately he doesn't have a king here and he folds. Okay, so this is the hand that defined today's session. So there's no straddle here, but the under the gun limps in. Under the gun +1 now opens it up to $20. The button calls, and I look down at pocket tens in the big blind. I 3-bet this up to 130. I don't want to go multi-way, and there are some loose aggressive players that I can get some value out of. Only the under the one +1 calls, so we are heads up to the flop of 9-8 deuce 2 hearts. I c-bet for $210. This opponent that we're up against, he's been literally playing every hand that he's been dealt in since he sat down. This guy seemed like he can pay off any draw, so I go bigger here, and he calls. The turn now comes the 5 of diamonds, and I bet out for $500. In the moment, I thought that this was kind of a brick. Like, I was really only worried about heart draws. Maybe he has 9-8, set of 9, set of 8s. I think a better bet here would be more like 350, like half pot. It feels like I'm pot committed here, and that's what happens. He shoves all in. I just thought that he could just easily be doing this with some flush draws, some open-ended flush draws, stuff like that. It was only like 630 more for me to call into a pot that was 1800, something like that. I decide to call. He tells me he has a straight, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm drawing dead to a straight. The river doesn't even matter. River comes the jack of hearts, and he shows me 6-7 of clubs. There was a lot of things I could have done on the turn better, like betting smaller or betting that $500 and just folding. But in the moment, I just thought that there was no way that this guy has it. Yeah, that's my fault. I think I overplayed my hand a little bit here pretty much. So yeah, we lose a big portion of the stack trying to hero call, and we were wrong this time. Okay, so yeah, we're kind of tilted. So this hand, the low jack opens to $20. The cutoff calls, and I look down at 7-8 of hearts in the button. I 3-bet it up to $110. Unfortunately, the big blind calls, the low jack calls, the cutoff calls. We are 4 ways to the flop of queen jack 10 2 hearts. Checks to me, and I mean, I have a gutter to a straight. I have a flush draw. I'm gonna go with this one, so I shove all in for about $315 more, which the big blind tanks for a little bit. He doesn't like it, but he folds. The low jack calls though, and the cutoff folds, so we are heads up. He asks once or twice, and I say always once. The turn comes the 5 of clubs, no help to me. The river comes the 8 of clubs, so I mean, we make a pair. I say that I have an 8, and he says it's good, and I show my hand, and he shows me ace-5 of hearts. Oh my god, so he had the nut flush draw, which means that I was dead to a heart. He turned a pair of 5s, so really I only had 8 or a 7 to win it, and we hit one. Oh my god, so kind of get lucky. I mean, really get lucky and get bailed out here. We take that. All right, we're 7-handed here. I think we're pretty much almost even. Like, I think we're down maybe $200-300, which is great from only having about $420 just a little bit ago. I look down at pocket queens under the gun, and I open up to $20. Under the gun +1 calls, in the middle position calls, and we are 3 ways to a flop of 6-3 deuce 2 diamonds. All in all, not a bad flop. I c-bet for $30. Under the gun +1 calls, in the middle position calls, and we go to the turn, still 3 ways. The turn is the 8 of spades, so he puts 2 flush draws out there. I continue betting. I bet for 125, a little bit bigger, and under the gun tanks for a little bit, but he do end up calling here, so we are heads up to a river of king of diamonds. Oh man, such a bad card. Front door flush comes in, an over card comes in. I check it over to him, and now he bets at $300. Oh man, just a tough spot. I ask him if he wants to show for the vlog if I fold, and he says yes, so I decide to show him as I fold. He shows me 10 deuce of diamonds, so he did get there. What is he doing calling 10 deuce of diamonds when I opened for 20 under the gun, and he has under the gun +1? I don't even know what he's doing with that hand, but I'm glad that I got away from it in the river and didn't pay him off. But damn, man, damn. Alright, well, last hand. Told you there was not a lot of hands, and I played literally for 6-7 hours. $10 straddle here. Hijack calls, and I look down at ace-3 of hearts in the cutoff. I decide to call here. I think raising is a bit better, but I decide to call. The button calls, the small blind calls, the big blind calls, and the straddler checks its options. So we are 6 ways to a flop of ace-5-5 rainbow with 1 heart. Checks it over to me. I decide to check just because I wasn't the pre-flop aggressor or anything, and it's still multi-way, so I want to see what other people are doing. The button bets out for me for $25. It's a small blind call, and I call to close the action. We are now 3 ways to a turn of king of spades. Checks it over to me again, and I mean, this doesn't really change anything, but I don't really see a benefit of just betting out here. So I check back. The river comes the 9 of spades, completing the backdoor spade draw. The small blind bet's now for $40. I underrepped my hand. Ace could be very good here. I think an ace would have still kept on betting on the turn. And I do call, and he shows me king jack offsuit and says ace is good, and I show my ace and it's good. So we take the small pot down. And after this, I mean, I do stay for another hour, but I just am card dead like no other. So we book a small loss and we decide to rack up and head on home. This session wasn't that great. I think I lost about $530 or something like that. I mean, that pocket tens, I really shouldn't have called that. I think if I saved around $600, I might have been even, maybe $100, $200 up, but who knows? Maybe I might not be playing that 7-8 hand like I did. So yeah, that pretty much wraps this session up. Please click that subscribe button if you don't want to miss any part of the journey. More videos coming out later this week and next week. Next week, I got some banger videos coming out next week. Big pots, big wins, surprises, and everything else in between. So yeah, let's keep the momentum going. Let's keep grinding. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.